you've already wasted today. And here's the disturbing reality: time perception researchers have proven that the average person loses 4.5 hours daily to what they call psychological time theft, activities that feel productive but create zero actual value. You think you're busy, but you're just distracted. And distraction disguised as productivity is the most expensive form of self-sabotage. By the end of this video, I'll reveal the exact priority algorithm that ensures today actually matters. But first, you need to see what treating today as disposable is stealing from your future. Let me show you what's happening right now. You woke up with vague intentions. Maybe you'll work out. Maybe you'll be productive. Maybe you'll make progress. But maybe is not a plan. It's an escape hatch. And by noon, you've already taken it. You've scrolled. You've checked things that didn't need checking. You've done busy work that feels like work but creates nothing. And now it's evening. And you're asking yourself, where did the day go? But that's the wrong question. The right question is, did I decide where the day went, or did I let it disappear? Here's what nobody tells you about time. It's the only resource you can't get back. You can make more money, build new relationships, learn new skills, but you can't make more time. Every day that passes is gone forever. And most people live as if they have infinite days, as if there's always tomorrow to do the thing that matters. But there isn't. Today is all you actually have. Tomorrow is a concept. Today is reality. And reality is either used or wasted. There's no neutral. Now here's the brutal part. Most people don't waste time because they're lazy. They waste it because they don't know what actually matters. So they treat everything as equally important. Email, social media, busy work, real work, it all gets the same attention. And when everything matters, nothing matters. You're spending your most valuable resource, your time, on things that don't move your life forward, and you're doing it on autopilot, not because you chose to, but because you never decided not to. Let me tell you what wasting today costs you. First, it compounds. One wasted day becomes one wasted week. One wasted week becomes one wasted year, and suddenly a decade has passed and you're in the same place. Second, identity erodes. Every day you waste, you're becoming someone who wastes days. Third, regret accumulates. Every night you go to bed knowing you didn't do what you said you'd do is a deposit into the regret account. And regret is the most expensive emotional debt you'll ever carry. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. You have two systems fighting for control. Your limbic system, the impulsive, short-term part, wants comfort now. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, long-term part, knows what matters. And whoever you feed wins. Every time you choose the easy thing over the important thing, you're feeding the limbic system. And it gets stronger, until your default mode is distraction. Until doing what matters requires superhuman effort, because you've trained yourself to prioritize comfort over significance. Now here's the shift that changes everything. Making today count is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. And what matters most is almost never urgent. It doesn't have a deadline screaming at you. It doesn't create immediate consequences if you skip it, so it's easy to delay. But delaying what matters is how you end up living a life full of urgent, empty tasks and zero fulfillment. You're busy but not building, active but not progressing, moving but not growing. Here's the framework. Every day has three types of activities: reactive, productive, transformative. Reactive activities are responses to other people's priorities, emails, messages, requests. Productive activities create immediate output, tasks, errands, work. Transformative activities build long-term value, learning, creating, connecting deeply. Most people spend 80% of their day on reactive, 18% on productive, and 2% on transformative. But transformative is what actually changes your life. And if you don't protect time for it, it never happens. Let me show you what this looks like. You wake up, you check your phone. You've just entered reactive mode. Someone else's priority is now controlling your attention. And once you're in reactive mode, you stay there all day, responding, reacting, putting out fires. And at the end of the day, you've been busy, but you haven't built anything. You haven't moved toward any goal that matters to you. You've just maintained. And maintenance is not growth, it's stagnation with motion. But here's the trap. Reactive mode feels productive. You answered 50 emails. You checked off tasks. You were busy. But busy is not the same as effective. Busy is just motion. Effective is direction. And most people are moving in circles, calling it progress. They're confusing activity with achievement. And activity without direction is just exhausting yourself while staying in place. Here's the psychology. Your brain rewards completion. Every time you check something off a list, you get a dopamine hit. And your brain loves dopamine. So it drives you toward tasks that can be completed quickly. Small, easy, insignificant tasks. Because they deliver the reward faster. But the tasks that actually matter, the transformative ones, take time. They don't give you quick dopamine, so your brain avoids them. And you end up spending your day chasing dopamine through trivial tasks while the important work sits untouched. Now here's where it gets interesting. The most successful people you know are not more talented or more disciplined. They've just learned to protect their time for what actually matters. And protection means saying no to distractions, to other people's urgency, to tasks that feel important but aren't. They've built what psychologists call selective ignorance. They deliberately ignore things that don't serve their highest priorities. And that ignorance is not carelessness, it's strategy. Here's the neuroscience. Your brain has limited cognitive bandwidth. Every decision you make, every distraction you process, every task you switch to, it all drains the tank. And when the tank is empty, you default to autopilot. And autopilot is just your conditioning, your habits, your patterns. So if you don't protect your bandwidth for what matters most, you'll spend it on what's easiest. And easy is almost never important. Let me give you the protocol. Step 1. Before your day starts, identify the one thing that, if done today, would make today matter. Just one thing, not 10. 1. Step 2. Do that thing first. Before email, before social media, before anything else. You're using your peak mental energy on your highest priority. Step 3. Protect that time. No interruptions, no distractions, no exceptions. Step 4. Everything else is secondary. If you complete the one thing, the day counts. If you don't, the day is wasted, no matter how busy you were. Here's what happens when you execute this. Day 1, doing the one thing feels hard. Your brain wants to do the easy stuff first, but you override it. Day 2, it's slightly easier. You're building the pattern. Day 3, you start to feel the difference. You're actually making progress on what matters. By day 7, you've created more meaningful output than most people create in a month. And by day 30, you're not the same person. You've become someone who makes days count. But here's the part most people miss. The one thing doesn't have to be huge. It just has to move you toward what matters. Writing 500 words if you're building a book. One sales call if you're building a business. 30 minutes of focused learning if you're building a skill. The magnitude of the task is less important than the direction. Because direction compounds. Small steps in the right direction become miles over time. But 0 steps in the right direction, no matter how busy you are, is still 0. Here's what elite performers do that most people don't. They treat time as their most valuable asset. More valuable than money. More valuable than approval. More valuable than comfort. So they guard it ruthlessly. They don't give it away to anyone who asks. They don't waste it on activities that don't serve their goals. They spend it intentionally. And intentional time spent on the right things creates extraordinary results. Now here's the secret method I promised you. It's called the daily debrief. Every night before bed, you ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Did I do the one thing that mattered most today? 2. If not, what stopped me? 3. What's the one thing for tomorrow? You're creating accountability, not to anyone else, to yourself. And that accountability prevents the drift, the slow slide into wasting days, because you're checking in daily. And daily checks prevent monthly disasters. Here's what happens when you do the daily debrief. You start to see patterns. Maybe you're consistently avoiding the important work because you're afraid. Maybe you're letting urgency hijack your priorities. Maybe you're saying yes to things that don't matter. And awareness of the pattern is the first step to changing it. You can't fix what you don't see. And most people never see it because they never stop to look. But here's the trap. Some people do the debrief and beat themselves up for wasting the day. That's not the point. The point is awareness and adjustment. You wasted today. Okay. What are you doing tomorrow to make it count? Guilt doesn't change behavior. Commitment to a different choice does. So you acknowledge the wasted day. and you commit to a different tomorrow, and the commitment is what matters. Here's the identity shift you need. You're not someone who occasionally makes a day count, you're someone who makes every day count, and that identity is built one day at a time. Every day you protect time for what matters, you're casting a vote for that identity, and your brain counts votes, and when you've cast enough, the identity becomes automatic. You don't have to force yourself to make today count, you just do, because that's who you are now. Let me show you what happens if you don't change this. 5 years from now, you're looking back, and the dominant feeling is regret, not because you didn't have time, but because you wasted it on distractions, on other people's priorities, on busy work that created nothing, and you can't get those years back. They're gone, and the life you could have built during those years doesn't exist, because you never protected the time to build it. Here's the truth. Time is going to pass whether you use it or waste it. A year from now, 365 days will be behind you. The only question is, what will you have built with those days? Will they have mattered? Or will they have been consumed by distraction, reactivity, and tasks that felt urgent but meant nothing? And that question is answered by what you do today, because today is the only day you actually have control over. Now let me tell you what you're losing every day you don't make count. You're losing the compound effect of consistent progress. You're losing the identity of someone who follows through. You're losing the respect of future you, because future you is watching, and every wasted day is a betrayal, not of your goals, of yourself. Here's the protocol for today. Right now, before you do anything else, you're going to decide on the one thing that will make today count. Write it down. Then you're going to do it. Not later. Now. You're going to protect the next hour from all distractions and make progress on that one thing. And tonight, you're going to do the debrief. Did I do it? If yes, today counted. If no, what stopped me? And what's tomorrow's one thing? Because here's the final truth. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you have. You don't need better circumstances. You need better priorities. You don't need a different life. You need to start building the one you have, one day at a time. And building starts by making today, this specific, unrepeatable day, count for something. Make today count, not by doing everything, but by doing the one thing that matters most. Not by being busy, but by being intentional. Not by filling time, but by investing it in what will compound into the life you actually want. And that choice is made today, right now. What's the one thing that makes today matter? Do that, and today counts.